Tayo. 1 second. Tingnan mo. Oo nga, live na. Alright. Welcome back everyone dito sa latest episode ng The Deep Dive. Mukhang medyo kailangan natin from bunker na, di ba? Sir Ronald, nasa ano ka na ba? Nasa Hong Kong ka na ba? Because suddenly everything came together, no, Sir Ronald? Parang nasa Macau si Harry Roque na malapit sa Hong Kong. Biglang si Digong nasa Hong Kong. Biglang mukhang bati si Digong ay medyo inaamin niya na mukhang this ICC thing finally could be happening na, no? So obviously we're gonna discuss different scenarios. One scenario is, I call it the Assad scenario, yung tumakas na leak na sa kanya, babaksak na yung ano mo, mauna ka na. And of course, that scenario has its own implications. I don't know kung pwede pa siyang huliin pa sa Hong Kong or kung tatakas sa China. But for me, just the fact that Digong could face exile, that could have implication for Sara impeachment, for the elections and everything. But the other thing is, of course, Digong also could come back and try to have a showdown, right? Malakas ang loob niya. So, Sir Ronald, from what we know and what we can share, what can you say, Sir Ronald? Ganun na lang yung caveat natin.
Tingin ko masyadong overrated yung trip ni Digong sa Hong Kong. Tingin ko nakita lang sila ni Harry Roque sa Hong Kong Disneyland.
Right.
Nandun sila nun Nakita ko sila sa Disneyland. No? Nakasakay sila sa Chubibo. No? Silang dalawa.
Ayan naman tayo.
Tingin ko ay marami na nakakaalam. Hindi naman ganun karami. Meron ng mga nakakaalam nito 4-5 days ago. Tapos mga 3-4 days ago, may nag-inform na kay Digong, no, from the Interpol. Dahil doon pinadala ng ICC, possibly, yung kanilang request, yung kanilang international warrant. Dahil Interpol ang mag-i-implement.
Right.
Eh alam mo naman na yung Interpol ay composed of different countries. The biggest police force in the world is China. Yung China, merong senior position sa Interpol. Kaya sila yung isa sa mga unang nakaalam dito sa possible na warrant ng ICC. So, hindi malayo na in-inform nila si Digong dito sa
China
warrant.
bang nag-leak?
Lalo na, kasama ni Digong si General Monteagudo sa Hong Kong.
Right.
General Monteagudo ay yung kanyang intelligence chief nung siya ay presidente. Yan yung head ng NICA.
Right.
At
Yeah,
yung NICA,
remember
yung panahon
that
ni Digong, yan ang nakikipag-deal sa intelligence agencies ng ibang bansa, lalo na ng China, na napakalapit ni Digong nung siya ay presidente. Kaya hindi ako magugulat na in-inform siya ng mga Chinese. At the safest place he can run is China. Huwag mong kalimutan, Hong Kong is under China. Kahit kunyari autonomous. No? Kaya doon talaga siya pumunta. No? Kaya yung mga nagtatago ay posibleng nandun ngayon. Katulad nung paborito mong ex-human rights lawyer, si Harry Roque, no?
Wait, Sir Ronald, so you're saying walang, kasi sa pagkalam ko, walang Mr. Universe event or ganyan sa Macau or sa Hong Kong So,
ay, madalas
meron sa Disneyland.
Marami ron, no? Marami ron sa Macau at Hong Kong. Mas madalas doon. Doon yata ang Mr. Universe every month
Pwede nga. Parang ibang Mr. Universe yata, alam mo, Sir Ronald. Mamaya i-text mo na lang sa akin yung details. Hindi pa ako informed masyado. No, but going back to this, Sir Ronald. So what you're saying is that it's more likely na his patrons in China who have a lead within the Interpol leak this than maybe people within the Philippines leaking it to him para lang umalis ka na dito para wala nang gulo. Kasi 'di ba, if our operating assumption is conflict avoidant itong administration, at the same time they want to get rid of Duterte, the best case scenario for them is, to essentially tell Digong, oy, bago ka na ma-arrest, umalis ka na dito, doon ka na, wag ka na bumalik, 'di ba? And then from there you can get things going, right? Because otherwise you'll have a Kiboloy situation and times 10 probably even, considering Digong's stature and all.
Yes. That's a distinct possibility. Pero tingin ko yung mas probable ay somebody from Interpol, possibly China, ay in-inform siya tungkol dito sa international warrant na ito. No? But then again, until it happens, it didn't happen. So,
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course.
hinintay natin today at saka bukas. No?
Yeah, as of
Dahil,
this, as of this, like
dahil
1
binanggit natin last year, September yan eh.
wag mo na i-remind kasi baka ma-fake news na naman tayo sa Tricom. Sabi ko kasi sa mga kaibigan natin, wag kayong excited masyado. No, I mean, just to be clear to people, of course, ICC is very secretive dito sa kanilang investigation. So, it's never easy to get 100% confirmation kasi alam nila, ini-infiltrate sila ng intelligence agency. Whether it's
Tsaka it has 124 member states. Mismo yung board ng ICC ay iba't ibang mga bansa. So hindi ganoon kabilis gumawa ng desisyon ang ICC. Usually nga, ang sabi natin ay 7 years yung usual na panahon from the start ng kaso until sa preliminary investigation. Kaya nandun naman tayo. Tayo lang, we were hoping mas
Slightly
maaga sa
earlier.
7 years. Oo.
Although we
Pero-
foresaw naman the possibility of this coming during the elections and adding a kind of a complicating
Yes.
dimension to this. Pero ako kasi, with the ICC issuing warrants of arrest for Putin just months into war in Ukraine, just a year into the conflict into Gaza, the idea of us waiting, I don't know, a decade or years more, and then you already had ICC issuing sa Taliban. When did the Taliban come to power? 2021. So
Yes.
if you want to talk
Yes.
about atrocities, all of these things are they came after, right? Antecedent. They came after the alleged crimes and mass atrocities under Duterte. So let's be honest, we were quite still disappointed with the quote-unquote sluggish pace.
Yes.
Sorry. Pero kaya nga ako, kasi may nakausap tayo sa Hague last year, kinonfirm ng tao na there's a communication with the Philippine government. They're trying to convince the Philippine government. So ako, my plausible explanation is we didn't control the Philippine side of this equation because for all we know, the ICC wanted to have some degree of cooperation with the Philippine government before they move ahead, since Putin, Netanyahu, those cases seems to be far-fetched. Forget about the Taliban leaders hiding in the caves. I don't know, Tora Bora, whatever. So siguro yun yung, for me, the reason explains why medyo tumagal ito ng konti than we
Saka
expected.
may hesitancy kasi yung ating gobyerno dahil halimbawa, umalis tayo. 'Di ba? Umalis tayo nung
Right.
nagsimula yung preliminary examination noong 2017, 2018, 'di ba? Umalis tayo eh. Ikalawa, kahit umalis tayo ay nagpatuloy yung kaso at yung Justice Secretary noong 2021 si
Menardo
Solicitor General Guevara ngayon,
He's still-
Solden siya ngayon. Pero noon, humingi siya ng palugit.
Yeah.
Diba? Humingi siya ng palugit sa ICC na bigyan sila ng pagkakataon para patunayan na gumagana yung ating justice system. Binigyan siya ng almost a year eh. Diba? Binigyan siya ng almost a year na palugit, pero noong 2022, binawi na ng ICC. Dahil wala naman talagang nakasuhan dun sa almost a year na palugit na yon.
So what you're saying, Sir Ronald, is the Squid Games delayed it. The Squid Game will give us more time
kaya
to assess
tumatagal
this.
ito
Yeah.
kaya tumatagal ito dahil una, umalis tayo, ikalawa ay humingi tayo ng almost a year na palugit, tapos as late as last month, naglabas na naman ng statement si Guevara invoking complementarity. So yung ganun bang klaseng posisyon ay tingin ko nakatulong para bumagal yung ating kaso. Dahil alam ng ICC, kumukontra tayo. No, kumukontra tayo dyan. At yung present Solicitor General, as late as last month, ay kine-question na naman yung role ng ICC dun sa ating kaso. Kaya hindi ka magtataka, hindi mo rin masisisi yung ICC, bakit ganun bakit ganun ka bagal, no?
Yeah, so essentially our argument here is that unlike in the case of Russia, unlike in the case of Israel or soon maybe Myanmar, and obviously in Afghanistan, it was already given na walang cooperation yung host government, right? Because ang kalaban mo yung estado basically, right?
Wala
But in
nang
the case of-
palugit, wala nang palugit.
Exactly. So essentially ICC knew what was gonna come. They're gonna issue this warrant of arrest and they know the implication. In the case of the Philippines, ang argument mo is the reason I'm speaking English, Sir Ronald, kasi meron tayo sa Twitter, mga foreign journalists tayo and friends na nakikinig din. The reason in the Philippines nagkaroon ng delay is because the Philippine government sent too many mixed signals and asked for too many extra time and allowance to sort itself out. And in short, we contributed to the delay of ICC moving forward. Kasi yun nga, that's what
Yes.
I was told when I was there in July in Hague. Na our ICC is already communicating with the Philippine government, hey, what man, you wanna cooperate with us or not? So when Justice Carpio said he's expecting it by September, I thought siguro he also confirmed with his interlocutors. But for all we know, there were back and forth negotiations. Of course, people have to remember, this has to go through the Department of Foreign Affairs, right? Before it goes through DOJ, etc., and then Interpol. So there's some complications. Another complicating factor also, Sir Ronald, right? It was yung Supreme Court they mentioned that the Dutertes would challenge this in the Philippine Supreme Court, hoping again to delay this process since we withdrew from the ICC. Although, of course, anyone with the functioning gray matter would know that the Supreme Court already said na may residual jurisdiction ng ICC even if we exited them by the time of Duterte in 2018, meaning all the crimes committed before that final operationalization of the withdrawal would be covered. In fact, some would argue, in fact, the predecessor of Karim Khan, even the former chief prosecutor implied that
Bensouda.
that everything, yeah, is exact, that everything will be covered, even if you're no longer part of ICC. If you commit mass atrocity, you're still covered. I mean, let's not forget the case of Ukraine and Russia is also interesting, right? Because Russia is not a member of ICC. Last time I checked, I don't think Afghanistan is a member of ICC too. So in short, our case is really complicated kasi it's half in, half out. And then you have BBM, Marcos Jr., who's like the most, sending 10 different mixed signals. So in short, we have ourselves to blame for the extra delay, I would say. I would still say extra delay because I always
No.
felt the ICC had to come in much earlier. But I think what you're saying, Sarah, is the extra delay. Now, let's go to the implication. Assuming this is the case that ICC maybe within the next 24 to 48 hours is gonna formalize this. You already have Rappler, you already have Manila Times, even Manila Times, which of course, back in the day, they put you on the Matrix, right? This is the same newspaper, right? Sir Ronald, you were in the Matrix with Jollibee and Gretchen Ho and our friends.
I
Going
delete
back,
na. I
exactly.
delete.
And I was not on that Matrix, which pissed me off. Like,
Hindi ka privileged eh.
I was not important enough, apparently. Sir Ronald, going back to this, are we saying that if this is true, is it possible, sa tingin mo, will Duterte stay in Hong Kong na lang and try to figure out, you just said kanina, his former
Tingin ko,
intelligence chief is there,
tingin ko,
Harry Roque
tingin ko,
could be there, yeah.
tingin ko si Digong will stay there for a while. At habang i-explore nila yung mga legal at saka political remedies, halimbawa yung nabanggit mo sa Supreme Court, no? Mag-i-stay siya ron dahil hindi niya alam ano yung mangyayari. No? Ano yung mangyayari. Pero kahit mag-file sila sa Supreme Court, ay nagsabi na yung Supreme Court
Yeah.
last December 2021 unanimously na the ICC has jurisdiction. No? So, kakainin ng Supreme Court yung sarili nilang unanimous decision last December 2021 kung babawiin nila yan. Kaya tingin ko medyo uphill yung mga Duterte sa ICC, sa Supreme Court kahit karamihan sa Supreme Court ay appointed ni Digong. No? Kahit karamihan ng justices dyan ay appointed niya. Kaya maghihintay muna siya. Although, meron ding small possibility na itaob niya uli yung lamesa. Bigla siyang bumalik dito.
Yeah, that's my point. He will go like berserk.
Merong
Yeah.
several 100,000 na naghihintay sa kanya sa airport. Tapos, yung mag-create siya ng spectacle, napoposasan siya, pagdating o huhulihin siya sa airport. And then, yung matagal na nilang plano na trigger can be this. No, para sa isang uprising or mutiny. So, that is also a distinct possibility. Bagaman, ang tingin ko, that is much lesser. No, yung possibility, tingin ko na mas malaki, ay they will wait out itong mga gagawin nilang mga legal and political remedies habang nag-iintay sila, kumakain sila sa Hong Kong na masarap na pagkain, at sasama sa Disneyland, no?
Right.
Habang naghihintay sila. Lalo na, sabi ni Digong sa Quadcom last year, ay wala siyang pamasahe from Davao to Manila. No?
Wow,
Kaya
kawawa naman.
ngayon, ang buong pamilya na lang niya ang pumunta sa Hong Kong. No? Kaya, sinabi rin ni Digong last year na kung magsaserve ng warrant sa kanya sa Davao, ay imamassacre niya yung ICC na magsaserve ng warrant, no? At maghaharakiri siya pagkatapos, no? Ang problema, baka nakalimutan niya na yung magsaserve ng warrant ay hindi naman ICC at saka Interpol na magpaparachute sa Davao. Ang magsaserve ng warrant ay yung Philippine National Police. Mga Pilipino na miyembro ng Interpol. So yun ang kanyang imamassacre.
Um,
No?
Sir Ron, before we get too bloody and all, I'm still in the Disneyland mode. Let's talk about this. If you are Rodrigo Duterte right now, right? You're saying you're at the crossroads, right? One is suddenly go back Philippines with neck brace and like in wheelchair and then look like frail and weak, which he quite really is. I mean, he's pretending otherwise. And then expect that he'll get the same reception he got in Hong Kong when a lot of our kababayans love na love siya. I always say yung mga kababayan natin na love sa Digong, sana you spend more time here in the Philippines back in the day, especially with, close to Kian de los Santos and close to the 20,000-30,000 victims of EJK. And maybe we can discuss your love for Digong, hindi yung love based on what you see online and YouTube. I love our OFWs. There are a lot of OFW friends we have that are critical of Digong, that they want different Philippines. What I'm saying is that I just hope some of our OFWs who are like all over him and shouting, treating him like a Hollywood celebrity, I hope they spend more time with Kian de los Santos family and the hundreds of children who were allegedly massacred in the so-called drug wars of Duterte. Yun lang. But going back to this, Sir Ronald.
Napanood mo ba yung video na nung dumating si Sarah sa Hong Kong, maraming sumisigaw, Sarah impeach. Sarah
Bakit?
impeach.
Parang
Hindi naman lahat ng OFW ay pro-Duterte. No?
Yes, I'm talking about that specific subsection na parang DDS pa rin hanggang ngayon as if nothing happened. As if...
Yeah, dahil dramatically, bumaba naman talaga yung kanilang approval rating from a high of 93% to a low of 50%. Pero malaki pa rin yung 50%. Mas mataas pa rin yan kaysa sa approval rating ni Bongbong na medyo bumaba because of the budget brouhaha, di ba?
Right.
Yun ang nangyari. Kaya if I were Digong, I'm almost 80 and not too healthy, I will go out with a bang. Bigla akong babalik dito, no?
Yeah.
Arrest me, kill me, no? Di ba?
Yeah.
Darating ako rito. Tapos, ang beneficiary, si Sarah. Na hindi ako natatakot, no? Hulihin niyo ako, itong mga dayuhan na ito, no? Itong mga dayuhan na tinutulungan ng mga kapwa natin Pilipino sa gobyerno, no? Na hulihin ako, di gawin nyo ngayon. Pwede niya ganun tataob niya yung lamesa, babaguhin niya yung narrative, at alam mo naman, baka malito yung gobyerno kung ano gagawin. Kung gagawin ni Digong.
Like if you're Duterte, right, knowing his algorithm na disruptive politics has served him, he has a perfect record of winning all elections, right? That tells you that the idea of him, kasi political harakiri yun, di ba? If he's gonna stay in exile in Hong Kong, it's basically the end of the family. That's the cutting off the head of the snake. The next thing, they're gonna go after the daughter, after the son. So there's also a lot of reason for him to go crazy and come back.
Yeah. Ang problema rin kasi, Richard, ay may tendency yung mga Duterte to believe their own propaganda. No?
Exactly.
The Duterte brand, the Duterte magic is also a bubble. Diba? It's also a bubble Yung mga bullies kasi, no, matatapang sila sa harap ng weaker opponents.
Yeah.
Diba? Pero pag meron silang katapat na as strong as them, medyo nag-hesitate sila. Kaya yun yung kanilang relasyon sa China China is the bigger bully. The biggest bully. Kaya hindi sila makaporma pagdating sa China. Pero pagdating ngayon sa mga may hirap na 35,000 na pinatay nila extrajudicially, no? Ang tingin nila they can get away with it.
Yeah.
At ang tingin nila katulad ng speech na sa Hong Kong, ginagawa ko ito para sa kapayapaan. Actually, yung kapayapaan ng sementeryo ang ibig niya sabihin, no?
Yeah.
Kaya eventually that bubble will burst or has already burst. No? Kaya malabo na gawin ni Digong yung sinasabi ko. Dahil ayaw din nila talaga na makita na nakakulong, nakaposas, sinasakay sa aeroplano, papunta sa Den Haag. Diba? Ayaw din nila nun Parang si Sara Duterte, di ba? Yung kanyang press con, anong sabi niya? Mas mahirap pa, no? Mas mahirap pa, mas madali pang iwanan ng boyfriend
Hindi. Mas
at saka
mahirap na iwanan ka ng jowa kaysa
mahirap
ma-impeach.
pa,
Oo.
mas mahirap pang iwanan
Ng
ng
jowa.
boyfriend at girlfriend kesa ma-impeach.
Correct.
Ang message niya, chill lang ako.
Yeah.
Cool lang ako. I'm not troubled by this
Yeah.
impeachment. Pero after a few days, nagsampa sa Supreme Court, 'di ba? Nagsampa sa Supreme Court ng kaso para itigil yung kanyang impeachment. Kala ko ba chill ka lang? No? Kala ko ba chill ka lang? Parang si Digong last year, anong sabi niya sa Quadcom? No? Ang tagal naman itong ICC. Sana bukas na. Naiinip na ako. O ngayon, nasan siya? Nasa Hong Kong, nagtatago. Nasa China,
Nagdi-Disneyland.
nagtatago. So, ibig sabihin, yung kanilang mystique, yung kanilang legend, yung kanilang propaganda is a hot air balloon na sumasabog na. No? At tingin ko, alam nila yon. Kaya I doubt kung gagawin nila yung sinasabi ko. No?
Pero Sir
Na,
Ronald, are you challenging? I mean, let's say by some accident, since ang dami na nanonood ngayon, si Harry is listening in or like some Duterte advice. Do you think they will take this as a challenge? Like, Sir Ronald, do you want to officially challenge? Bumalik ka dito, tingnan natin.
Dapat. Si Harry Roque nga, contempt lang yung kinakaharap. Nagtatago na kung saan-saan. Contempt pa lang yan, ha? Alam ko naman contemptible siya,
Yeah.
no? Pero yung kanyang kaso hinaharap, contempt lang 'yon,
Grabe.
no? Dahil lang sa contempt, nagtago na siya. So, sobra naman silang tapang.
Right.
No? Sobra naman silang tapang. 'Di ba? Ang tapang-tapang niya. Political detainee na siya. Nakulong lang siya for
bayani,
1 day sa
bayani.
Congreso.
Bayani
Andun na
sila.
siya kaharap ng mga rehas na bakal, no? Diyos ko po naman, no? Diyos ko po naman itong mga to, no? Kaya, hamunin natin. Hamunin natin. Tatapang nyo, ha? Di, umuwi kayo ngayon. Umuwi kayo ngayon. No? Magpaparali ako ng mga victims ng EJK. Sasalubong sa iyo sa airport.
Actually, Sir Ronald, I think we need more of that because as we speak, I don't know, these are trolls, these are just misled people, these are like people out there. Sabi niya, wait, nag-investigate pa lang ICC. Like, can we remind Sir Ronald, people, how did we arrive at this point whereby an arrest warrant against Duterte is looking more imminent than ever? Can you just remind, I know this is like sobrang like, naghang na tayo, like, ganun baka walang pag-asa ibang kaibigan natin. How did ICC come with this decision if ever they're gonna release that warrant of arrest? Where did they get their evidence daw, Sir Ronald? Saan daw?
Well, ang main evidence nila ay yung mga mismo nag-implement nung Davao Death Squad. Yung head mismo niya ay si Police Superintendent Bayan Las Cañas. At yung sinasabi niyang Lambada Gang, yung 7 hitmen niya, isa ron ang tumestigo, si Matubato. And I think one more ang nasa kwan ngayon, nasa ICC. Pero hindi lang yun eh.
Ang daming communications, exactly.
Paano mo itatago ang 35,000 deaths? Na mismo yung Philippine National Police inaamin ay 6 to 7,000. At mismo yung kanilang Malacanang report, no? Noong 2017 September, ang sinasabi 20,000 na ang patay. 16,000 extrajudicially at 4,000 through legitimate police operations. Ito yung kanilang performance report, no? Barely a year nung pagkapanalo ni Digong as president, ganyan na karami ang patay. Paano mo itatago 'yan, no? Paano mo itatago yung mga pamilya ng mga Kian de los Santos, mga teenager na pinatay ng mga pulis?
Yeah.
No, paano mo itatago 'yan? So, mangangamo 'yan eh. Mangangamo yung sobrang dami nilang pinapatay. No? Kaya, maliban doon sa mga testigo, yan yung mag-haunt sa kanila. Literally, the ghosts of those they killed. No? As well as figuratively. At ikatlo, mismo yung mga statement ni Digong. Kahit madalas binabawi niya, siya mismo umaamin na inutos niya yan. So, these are very compelling evidence. At binigyan pa sila ng palugit ng almost 1 taon. Dahil reasonable naman yung ICC. Nag-request ka para patunayan na yung justice system mo nag-work. May nadagdag bang kinasuhan doon sa 35,000 na pinatay? Wala. No? Kaya the tons of evidence, katulad nung 110 tons nung truck na nagpabagsak nung tulay sa Isabela, no? Ganun kabigat yung ebidensya laban sa mga Duterte, no? Yung Ilocano rin ang Isabela, di ba? Ilocano rin.
Yes, yes,
Yun.
yes, yes.
Yun.
Di,
So
di
yung
ba
iconic bridge na bumagsak dahil sa tonelada daw na truck. Ganun din yung tonelada na ebidensya laban sa mga Duterte.
Well, just bigay, Toneda, di ba sabi ni Camille Villar, drive safely ba? Sino ulit yung
right.
DPWH secretary?
Sino ba yung secretary ng DPWH?
Exactly. Like, yung mga bridge na yan po ay hindi lumitaw out of nowhere in the past 2 years. Medyo 10 years na po siya binild. 6 years noon ay Digong's administration.
90% ay
90% Digong's legacy. Yeah.
Huwag natin kalimutan.
Oo.
Build. Kasabay ng kill.
Buti nga, and hugot, baka mahirapan, baka maano tayo dyan, makaswan tayo. Ano daw, kakaswan daw ako ni sabi ni, ano pangalan niya? Ni, I forgot, si, Guanzon. Nagalit daw siya kasi sabi ko,
Yari ka dyan.
Sabi ko kasi, baka yung Kibuloy na supporter ang nakikipicture ko. Hindi naman na-gets ang satire. Masyado naman, mga kaibigan natin.
Yari ka dyan.
Sir Ronald,
awayin mo lahat, huwag lang si Guanzon.
Parang you're not helping, Sir Ronald. Dami mo inaamon, Sir Ronald, balikan natin ito. If you are, Digong, looking at the case of Kibuloy, will you feel less safe or not? In a sense that quite effective yung nangyari kay Kibuloy, di ba? Despite all the drama and all of the pusit games and all the Davao strategy, tactics, and meron pang Davao School of Constitutional Law na may kung ano-anong sinasabi na meron siyang warrant of arrest pero hindi search warrant, so hindi siya pwede makapasok na wala yung kung ano-ano. Is the Kibuloy case actually a warning shot to Duterte na you're actually very vulnerable? In short, yun ang tanong.
Well, sabi ko nga kanina, nag-burst na yung kanilang bubble mismo sa kanilang muka. At never in their wildest dreams na na-imagine nila na mangyayari ito sa kanila. Dahil yung mga Duterte kasi pure hubris eh. Pure hubris. No? Ibig sabihin ay sobra yung paniniwala nila sa kanilang invincibility. Sobra yung paniniwala nila, no? Sa kanilang lakas.
Impunity, rather.
Hindi ito mangyayari, no? E ngayon na nagsisimulang mangyari that they are confronted by the possibility of their political mortality. I'm sure ninenervyos na sila in spite of their bravura. Ang natitira na lang ngayon sa kanila, di ba? It's a bravura eh. Diba? Na wala yan. Pinapagpag lang namin yan. Impeachment, pinapagpag. ICC, pinapagpag. Ngayon, no? Ngayon na nakadikit na sa kanila itong kanilang pinapagpag. Hindi nila mapagpag. Nakakaramdam na sila ng mortality. Imagine mo yun, ha? Kung ikaw ay sobrang believe mo sa sarili mo at na-realize mo...
Parang tayo sa Ronald, bilib na bilib tayo sa sarili natin.
Tayo hubris lang. Tayo hubris lang. Sila pure hubris. No? Tayo, may element pa tayo ng showmanship eh. Sila talaga naniniwala. No? Talaga naniniwala. Ikaw kasi, ang pinanggagalingan mo kasi toxic masculinity.
Ayan.
No?
Sir Ronald, Women's Month yan. Women's Month. Happy Women's Month.
lang ako kaya nadadamay ako sa inyo eh. No? Nadadamay ako eh. No?
Ayan. Happy Women's Month pa ulit, just to remind everyone, tayo po ay talagang mataas po ang ating quotient of political sensitivity. Towards the end na tayo, alam ko, Sir Ronald.
Magpaliwanag ka mamaya sa safe house.
Mamaya, magbabardagulan na tayo mamaya kasi doon ka sa kabila, basta sa kabila, malayo tayo.
Rumble na naman tayo mamaya ron.
Talsiklaway na naman tayo, Sir Ronald. Daming nagalit sa akin, bakit si Richard walang mic doon, tapos nakiki-epal. Pumapatol naman kayo sa akin. Sir Ronald, ito, patapos na tayo. Let's go towards the, parang, okay, the day after. Sabihin natin, okay, again, everything is with caveat. Let's say within the next 48 hours, the warrant of arrest comes in. Philippine government, that 7,000 strong, whatever is true. So what do we see in terms of scenarios? A, in terms of Sara impeachment, do we see this actually accelerating the Sara impeachment situation na baka, wait, if we cut off the head of the snake, maybe we want to go after the rest?
Of course, dahil Sarah is a creation of the father. Diba? Yung kanilang mga political allies like Bato, Bongo, no, Robin Hood Padilla are creation of the father. No, the family. Hindi naman, ikaw ba, sino ba namang matino ang boboto kay Pulong? No? Kaya siya binoto dahil siya ay Duterte.
Right.
Diba? So, all of this, nakinabang sila kay Digong. Kung si Digong ay mag-unravel, sigurado ko mag-unravel din sila.
Right.
Halimbawa,
House
kung
of cards.
matuloy itong crimes
Yeah.
against humanity, kung matuloy itong kanilang pagtago, dinaga at nagtago sa Hong Kong, no? At hindi na sila babalik, doon na sila sa bosom ng kanilang principal na China, si Xi Jinping, doon na sila magtatago. Imagine mo yung negative impact niyan kay Sara.
Yeah.
Anong sasabihin ng mga senador na nag-hesitate i-convict si Sara? Anong sasabihin ng mga senador na ang pagkiling ay pro-Sara? Anong sasabihin ng mga senador na nagbabakasyon, ayaw tapusin yung kanilang bakasyon in deference to Sara? Magbabago yan. Magbabago yan. Gusto ba ng mga senador na ito na malink sa crimes against humanity? Gusto ba ng mga senador na ito malink sa pagiging pro-China? I'm sure hindi. Kaya may epekto yan hindi lamang sa midterm elections,
Yeah.
may epekto yan dito sa impeachment.
So mag-ano na yan, mag-tsunami na yan, di ba? I mean, if you're Nograles now, suddenly, I don't know kung legit ba yung mga...
Unless Bigar, unless gumawa yung gobyerno ng epic fail.
Yung, I was about to say, unless yung kababayan ko ay...
Unless yung gobyerno hindi gamitin itong opportunity na ito.
shoot
At
in the...
imbis
ano
na
na lang.
gamitin, ay sila yung mag-unravel. Sana hindi naman. Dahil lamang na lamang sila rito eh.
Yeah.
Lamang na lamang sila rito. Pero kung pag nakita mo yung statement ni Jay Ruiz at saka ni Claire, medyo it leaves much to be desired. Diba? Dapat turuan mo sila how to make a statement.
I think,
mo sila.
well, in fairness kay Attorney Claire Caso, lalabas yung interview na, I think she's still feeling her way. I mean, she's transitioning from us like vlogger into... Kaya nga para sabi ko mag-Harry Roque style ka. In my personal capacity, ito yung opinion ko, magganong ka na lang sabi ko. Para makalusot. No, but going back to this, Sir Ronald, so what should the rest do? Kasi hindi natin kontrolado yung administration. BBM will do his own thing. Hindi rin natin kontrolado si Digong, but you're encouraging them to go for gold and like magwala-wala. Now, what should the civil society do? Yung sinabi mo kanina, should the victims come out? Pwede na sila mag-rally? Or do you think this is now the time to bring out all the cards na? Meaning, all the victims.
Sabi ko nga sa interview ko kahapon at saka early this morning, ito yung moment ng mga victims.
Yeah.
Ito yung moment ng mga pamilya. Ibis na kami lang ang nagsasalita, dapat sila yung nasa frontline na nagsasalita. Ito yung kanilang storya.
Yeah, exactly.
No, this is their moment. No? Kaya dapat sila yung imbitahan ng media. No, dahil ito na yung kanilang vindication.
Right.
Ito na yung kanilang vindication. At kailangan magkaroon ng maraming mobilizations with them, ang civil society. Yun ang dapat mangyari.
And do you think there are civil society groups who are doing that? I mean, you were talking about kunyari people's movement for Sara impeachment. Could we see kind of a confluence of all of this? A people's movement for Sara impeachment.
Yes.
Parang a people's movement for EJK victims. A people's movement for good governance. Yeah.
Exactly. No? Tingin ko habang tayo ay nagbabardagulan dito, ay nagpaplano na yung mga yan. Proactively.
Yeah.
No? Habang tayo ay nag-uusap ng mga...
Na walang kinalaman. Wala tayong kinalaman. Just to be clear, we're totally innocent. We have no idea whatsoever.
Tayo ay kwan lang. Mga meron
agitators. We are agitators.
Meron. Nagpo-propose nga tayo kay Digong kung ano gagawin, di ba?
We're proposing to both sides. Sabi na iba, para sinusulsul natin yung dalaw, ginawa natin sa sabong Sabong to. Sige na, go na. Digong, uwi ka na. Manggulo na kayo dyan sa
I'm 100% sure. Nagpaplano itong civil society with the families of the victims na mag-scale up. Kasama na itong People's Impeachment Campaign.
Sir, now if you are Bato, what will you do now? You're in the middle of elections. May time ka ba tumakas or hair follicle test? Ano bang gagawin mo ngayon kung
Wala
ikaw si Bato?
problema ni Bato, kung meron international warrant, may probability na kasama siya as principal.
Yeah.
Si Sara malamang hindi. Si Bongo malamang hindi. No? At least not in the first wave.
Yeah.
Pero si Bato ay nanganganib. Nanganganib si Bato. Baka nga siya pa yung maiwan dito. Siya pa yung
Siya yung-
mapadala sa Den Haag.
Siya yung maging
pa
Bato. Yeah.
Oh, siya pa yung nandun. No? Oo. At siya yung talagang tunay na iiyak. Katulad nung kanyang crocodile tears nung tinanggal si Mig Subiri.
Pero
Ito,
Sir
tunay na
Ronald,
tears
yung
na to. Hindi na to crocodile tears.
Sir, malapit na magkaroon ng Bato School of Drama and Arts. Baka mamaya magka-branch yan sa Hague. Hague
yan,
branch of the Bato School of Drama and Arts.
Oh.
Now,
At halimbawa,
Yeah.
kahit hindi pa siya ulihin, tatamaan yung kanyang ratings sa survey dito. I'm sure of that.
yun nga, I think now is, you're absolutely right, this time talaga for the victims and all come out. Last point, what about the genuine progressive opposition? We had the Iloilo event, Riza was there, Lenny was there, Franklin Drilon always was there. Kind of like a show of united front. We're seeing more of those congealing and all. Do you think, Sir Ronald, now it's time also for that traditional opposition, let's just call them, to come all in out in support of ICC if ever the warrant of arrest come out? What should our friends do? Yung mga people who see themselves or are truly progressives, whether liberal or progressive as in center left or left, should they all come out and fully in unison support the ICC movement na ito na dapat yung focus?
Dapat bawiin na nila yung statement nila na impeachment is not a people's issue.
Right.
Dahil yung impeachment, kasama dyan yung EJK. Yung impeachment, kasama dyan yung ICC, yung Crimes Against Humanity. No? At ito, clearly, ay nagdesisyon na yung ICC. At dapat sila yung paunang sumuporta dyan. Dapat bawiin na nila yung kanilang statement na ang impeachment is not a people's issue. Dapat magsalita na sila rito. Kahit medyo magdalawang isip sila dahil baka mapawasan sila ng boto, dahil this is no longer about political calculation. This is no longer about votes. This is about their role and part in history. Nasaang side ba sila ng kasaysayan? No? Sila ba ay titimbangin at makikitang kulang o sila ay titimbangin at makikitang sapat? Yun na yung dapat nilang isipin. Kaya dapat kasama sila sa ating hahamulin.
Yun nga,
Ngayon,
Sir, do you
at sa
think if they don't do
sunod na
that, that
episode.
will damage them? I mean, let's lay out all the cards. If
Yeah.
those who position themselves as liberal, progressive, opposition, if they don't come out openly dito sa ICC, sa tingin mo ba masisira talagang, I mean, yung wala na silang credibility for years to come, considering, the opposition is still trying to rebuild its momentum, di ba?
Correct. Pwedeng makakuha sila ng boto sa mga Duterte. Pwede sila makakuha ng boto sa iglesia.
But at the
Pero
expense
yung mas
of...
malaking boto
Yeah.
na pagkukuhanan nila, yung anti-Duterte, no? Yung yan yung
Solid
mas
North.
tatama.
Yung maraming followers natin ngayon bago. Sir Ronald, biglang dumami yung Solid North followers natin. May mali ba tayong ginagawa, Sir Ronald?
Baka chamba lang.
Parang ang daming comment na pro-BBM ako pero gusto ko kayong dalawa. Parang wait. No. It's like, thank you but no thank you. Kasi gagamitin naman laban sa atin yan eh. Sir, I think this is very important, right? We have to be absolutely clear. Wala nang time for being wishy-washy here. We say this to BBM, but we're also saying this to some of our friends on the other side. Like, eto na. You have to lay out the cards na. I mean, I don't want to go Trillanes about this kasi Senator Trillanes parang, whoa, relax. Sabi ni Ronald, di ko alam, baka nga sa private nga, hindi nga, sabi ko, wait. Sabi ko, so this is it na, no? Lay out all the cards, show where you stand on this issue kasi this could be a momentous juncture in Philippine history, di ba, Sir Ron? I mean, did you ever think we will come here? I know we kept on saying for the past 2 years na papunta na tayo sa exciting part, but now it looks like we're just at the cusp of it, Sir Ronald. I know marami kang mga adrenaline rush events sa buhay mo. Hindi ko na isama yung mga hugot mo. Medyo yung mga adrenaline. Wait. Erase. Alam ko marami mga exciting moments sa buhay mo, Sir Ronald. But is this gonna be one of the most exciting moments if ever papunta na talaga tayo dyan?
Yes, this is
The moment.
a defining moment for everyone. This is a defining moment for our generation. Dahil dito nakasalalay yung future ng mga susunod na henerasyon. Diba? If the Duterte survive this, then they have a possibility to get back into power. No? Ngayon yung panahon whether they are destroyed completely or they survive and get momentum going into 2028. Tayang pato na ito. Tayang pato na ito para sa mga not only progressives, no? But those who support democracy, rule of law, no, sustainable development, everything
Yeah.
na positibo sa ating national narrative ay dapat itaya na ngayon. Laban dito sa mga recidivist elements na ito, no? Dahil kung hindi natin ito gagawin, no, the future will not only be bleak, the future will be doomed for our future generation. Kaya very defining ito. Ang tawag namin dito sa kalsada, tayang pato. Kaya mo na lahat. No?
Yeah.
Kaya yung mga nagbabasillate na ang basihan nila ay yung political calculation ng boto, no? Ay huwag kayong pumunta sa ganyang klasing side of history. Iko-condemn kayo forever.
Yeah.
Huwag niyong kalimutan. Lalo na yung may mga apelyido na pinoprotektahan. No?
Ayan na,
Mahiya
ayan na.
naman
Wow,
kayo.
wow, 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 wow,
No?
Sir Ronald, Sir
Mahiya
Ronald.
naman kayo.
Oo.
Kaya nga hindi ko binanggit eh.
Oo.
No?
Pero hindi
Mahiya
ito,
naman
hindi ito
kayo.
yung nagma-microblade, just to be clear. Kasi baka mag-feeling siya na kailangan din niya. Hindi si microblade boy yan. Just to be clear. Sir Ronald, ito na talaga, last na last. Kasi di sinasabi na, marites na naman tayo, hindi tayo totoong expert. Okay, so let's show them what kind of expert we are. Okay, so what is the best case scenario? What is the worst case scenario and what is the most probable scenario? Ganun na lang para maging analytic tayo. Kasi, of course, nothing is 100%. We cannot say anything for sure. Obviously, may pagka-normative advocacy din yung mga sinasabi natin minsan here, especially si Sir Ronald. Ako, very balanced ako, very malasado.
Kapasig mo.
Sir Ronald, what is the worst case scenario that could happen here? And then what is the best case scenario? And what do you think is really the more probable one? Again, this is probabilistic analysis. So, ito na, expert na tayo. Hindi na tayo, what is the worst, best, and
the worst case
probable?
scenario, no? Gamitin ito ng mga Duterte na sila yung mga martir. No? Sila yung martir, no? Pinapapasok ng ating corrupt na gobyerno yung mga dayuhan para sila ay tugisin dahil hindi sila kayang tugisin ng ating sariling gobyerno. Yung ganyang klaseng narrative gagamitin nila
100%.
to generate sympathy and support, no? Yan yung best case scenario para sa kanila. Ngayon, yung best case scenario naman para sa atin ay lahat itong mga binabanat natin sa kanila ay ngayon maging reality. Yung lahat ng sinasabi natin, crimes against humanity, no, traitors na mga pro-China, no, mga billionaires na tinatago yung kanilang ninakaw, ay ngayon, nandito ngayon, no, nakaharap sa ating mga mata, stark naked, yung kanilang betrayal, yung kanilang corruption, yung kanilang immunity, yung kanilang mass murder, nandito ngayon, gamitin na natin para kumbinsihin yung mga nagbabasillate, para kumbinsihin yung naniniwala pa rin sa kanila na ito yung inyong sinusuportahan. These are the monsters you thought were your heroes. Yun yung best case scenario. At i-condemn na sila ng a large part of our population. Linking all these issues together. China, tokhang, corruption, impunity, etc. No? At gamitin na ito as the main decisive blow against the Dutertes. No?
And what is the most probable scenario? Somewhere in between. I think most like it's somewhere in
Well,
between.
kung advise mo yung kung advisor mo yung si Claire at saka si
Ayan naman
Jeromy.
tayo. Sir Ronald! Sir Ronald! Parang nainggit ka yata nung sabi ko
Oo.
magta-tandem na rin kami ni R and
Oo.
kami ni
Ako
Claire.
kasi hindi ako tatanggapin na sa advisor eh. Kaya ikaw na lang mag-advise. No?
Kasi di ka...
Pero maganda rin ito para sa progressive movement. Dahil
Exactly.
sila naman na nag-take ng cudgels dito eh, di ba?
Right.
For more than 2 years. So, mag-playmaking na yung progressive movement. Yung mga nag-file ng impeachment, mag-playmaking na. Yung dating bumabanat kay Digong, mag-playmaking na. Hindi ko lang alam kung makakapag-claimmaking yung bahagi ng progressives na sumuporta kay Digong when he won as
Okay,
president
okay na, sir.
at sumama sa gobyerno ni Digong for 2 years. Hindi ko lang alam kung makakapag-playmaking
Sir
yun.
Ronald,
But
sir, I think
pwede mag-playmake.
kaya nga, officially, gusto ko na talaga mag-launch ng Move Forward Party sa Philippines. Kasi literally,
Yan. Oo.
parang yung sa
Oo.
Thailand, kasi parang literally, gusto ko na mag-move forward na tayo. Kasi, ayoko na relitigate ng lahat ng mga...
Pwede naman mag-move forward eh. No? Pero dapat may summation.
No,
Kailangan
postmortem.
assessment.
Lahat tayo kailangan ng
Hindi-
postmortem, yeah.
Kung hindi, parang kaladkad mo yan na parang kadaber na nangangamoy na nabubulok.
Yeah.
Diba? Para maiwanan mo yung kadaber na yan ng iyong support kay Duterte, aminin mo na nagkamali ka.
Yeah.
Diba? Kailangan may ganong klaseng self-criticism.
Oo.
Na official hindi yung pabulong-bulong lang.
Ayun
Ay,
lang.
Richard,
Or nasa podcast lang ni
nagkising
Haydar
kami.
yan. Oo.
Richard, nagkamali kami. No? Dapat medyo ka naman.
Right.
Medyo may ganung klaseng summation. And then we can move forward. Pwede na sila sumama sa iyong move forward party.
Yeah.
No?
Future forward, move forward. No, honestly, sinasabi ko, Sir Ronald, it's an anomaly na wala pa tayong ganyan sa Pilipinas. Si Macron nagkaroon ng On March, si Pita nagkaroon ng Move Forward, Future Forward. May bago na ulit pangalan nila kasi they keep on getting banned but they keep on coming back even stronger. No? So
Yes,
dapat ganun
yes.
na rin tayo sa Pilipinas. Tama na yung...
Malay
Yeah.
mo may mga uusap na tungkol dyan for 2020.
Exactly. At ikaw yung plano namin gawin, ikaw yung Jeremy Corbyn, Bernie Sanders namin. Kasi di ba, pansin mo, there's always this kind of a statesman, elder state. Hindi ka pa naman elder, pero almost.
Yung Joe Rogan mo, nagugulpi ngayon eh.
medyo kawawa.
Ha? Medyo nagka-unravel din eh.
Nakita mo yung kay Elon Musk, yung pumapasok na siya sa grass, yung nagtatago na siya sa grass.
Tapos may dalang chainsaw.
Ayan tayo. Okay, sir, I know marami kang gagawin and I'm gonna see you. Oh my God, ang tagal natin hindi mag-meet. In 2 hours, I will see you to discuss this more.
In a few hours.
In 2 hours, I'll see you again. Salamat, Sir Ronald.
Wala na ba sila ibang maimbita?
Actually, yun nga ang pansin ko. Bakit si Ronald parating imbita? Dapat ako lang, charot. On that note, salamat Sir Ronald and talk to you really soon. Really soon.
See
Salamat.
you. Parang makikita kita everyday.
Parang ayaw mo yata. Parang hindi yata natutuwa, Sir
You must
Ronald.
be doing something wrong. No?
You must be. Or baka wala talaga silang mahanap na iba. Like, tayo lang pumapatol. Salamat Sir Ronald and talk to you soon.
Thank
Buya ka
you.
siya. Buya ka siya. Salamat Sir Ronald. See you later. Okay guys, maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga nakikinig sa atin. Thank you so much guys. Again, alam ko gagamitin na naman ng mga trolls and as we speak, we're not saying this is 100% sure, pero it looks really almost sure, right? But again, wag nyo na akong awayin nyo na lahat ng ibang newspapers, practically even Hong Kong newspapers are discussing this issue right now. So, within the next 48 hours, so we may finally have a confirmation whether totoo talaga na may warrant of arrest. And maganda yung theory ni Ronald na baka nilik ng China pala sa kanya yan, hindi pala yung admin. Ako kasi I was thinking, baka nilik lang ng admin sa kanya, umalis ka na dito para hindi magkakibolo yung showdown. And Ronald is right, the fact na kasama niya yung mga intelligence chief niya, kasama niya si Harry Roque, who more than happy to defend him daw in ICC, whatever. Most likely, again, Macau, Hong Kong. It kind of makes sense. But then again, lahat ng sinasabi namin here, we're saying it with a caveat. Kasi yun po yung difference namin with the totoong fake news peddlers and mga walang hiyang mga trolls at bayaran. Kasi sila talagang they don't couch it in any kind of analytic framework or caveat or anything like that. And most importantly, wala talaga silang credibility in terms of contact or anything like that. And sobrang maganda yung analysis ni Sir Ronald in the sense that as if we have been saying, kasalanan din natin na ang delay ito kasi ang wishy-washy eh. Papyaw-hapyaw itong gobyerno natin ngayon. So kaya itong ICC, parang labon yung kausap. Doon muna kami doon sa mga klarong-klaro na. Taliban, alam namin, talagang walang magko-cooperate. Go na tayo. Israel, ganyan. Putin, ganyan. And then Myanmar, probably sure. So, in the Philippines kasi siguro mix signal, medyo, ano yung kabaliktaran ng ano? Walandi. Yung malandi na hindi malandi daw kunyari. Ganon, kasi sa daming mixed signals na sinesend natin, walandi diplomacy, naguluhan siguro na ICC. But I think papunta na tayo sa exciting part. But as I said, and actually this is the subject of my column for tomorrow, even if babaksak ang mga Dutertes, even if, which is not sure, and everything can go wrong again. I mean, we've seen, hindi pa rin tapos ang usapan eh. Kasi, yung babalik lang naman tayo sa traditional politics kung mawala ang mga Dutertes eh. So that's why it's important for the genuine opposition and all to get their act together, and literally kailangan natin ng future forward movement talaga. Talagang we have to move forward na guys. Hindi na pwedeng mga pa-cute style, hindi na pwedeng papyaw style. And nakakapagod na rin yung trapo politics. So even if mawala mga Duterte, which is far from assured, but it's more probable than ever, that's not the end of the story, guys. All right, it's just gonna open a new chapter. All right, and that new chapter is something that I'm gonna focus more on throughout this week in our podcast, in our TV interviews, among others. What should come next after Duterte's? The day after Duterte, what is next? Yun po ang mahalaga para sa akin. Mahalaga sa akin. But so far, let's just stick to our chairs. Papunta na tayo sa exciting part, guys, and talk to you soon. Salamat. And we're gonna have, by the way, Justice Carpet tomorrow, also live here on our channel. And hopefully by that time, medyo meron na tayong clarity talaga on this issue na almost 100%. So meron din tayong, aside from Attorney Ronald Liamas, you're gonna have Justice Carpet to break down the technicalities, the logistics, and what are the next steps. Sabihin natin if the warrant of arrest comes out, for instance, again, okay, what happens next? What is the mechanics? If this goes to the Supreme Court, what is next? What is the mechanics? So lahat yan, discuss natin yan. Go lang tayo. Ayan na, iyak na itong mga trolls natin na kaibigan. God bless. Talk to you soon. And please don't forget, mag-member kayo ha. Ayan, medyo naka 100 members na tayo. Target natin 1,000 members at least out of almost 1 million followers we have. Sana naman. At the price of a pick-up coffee every month, you're more than welcome to be part of our little movement here to push things. Wala akong alam sa mga nangyayari sa mundo, but in our own little ways, we're trying to shape them. So